All right, so this is it. 1986 Ninja 250R. First model Ninja 250R in the United States. We've already stripped it down, but it didn't look much better than this when we brought it over here. Long story short, I sold it to it was my first bike. I paid $700 for it in 2013. And I rode it, actually did ride it a little bit. Broke down. I crashed it, but that didn't cause it to break down. It just caused some damage, cosmetic damage, but then it broke down and we never figured it out. We didn't really know what we were doing. We were teenagers, so we kind of butchered it a little bit. This is not the original engine. The original engine is over there in a bag, still leaking oil, has been consistently leaking oil for 12 years somehow. But yeah, so basically where we're at, we're going to replace the wire harness because it's been chopped a little bit, and I found a deal on one for 30 bucks for this model. So we're going to completely replace the wire harness. I need to actually check this engine and see if it's actually good. I really would like to use the original engine, but it's messed up. I'm going to have to go through it. We'll see what we're going to go through the engines and see what we need to do, which one we're going to use. Leaning towards probably going to use the newer engine. Pretty much everything needs to be replaced. So what's good is the wheels and the frame, and hopefully one of these engines can be made to work. Everything else has got to be taken off this bike. Well, everything's going to be taken off the bike, cleaned up. I got to redo, the front end, all the maintenance items, all the bearings, all the seals, all the lines. The coolant or the radiator has to be cleaned. I'm gonna put some Marble Mystery Oil in the engine whenever we get our engine straight and ready, and we think it's gonna be good. I'm just gonna give it the old tune-up in a bottle for a while, drain that before we run it, and replace it with real oil. But just to make sure everything's loose, everything's clean in there. I've got a box of parts from a newer model Ninja, so a lot of this won't work, but some of it will. Like this, we're probably gonna use the shock, some of the covers, maybe that radiator. So I've got the throttle tube and the switches. It's a mess. It's yeah. We're gonna resto it as best as we can. Like I said, I'd like to use the original engine, but I don't think that's gonna be able to happen. I bought this bike back for a few $100, knowing exactly what the situation was with it. Just because it was my first bike, it's gonna be a little project of mine. Hopefully get it going. A lot of this stuff is near impossible to get, and when you do find it, it's very expensive. The parts that are specific to this bike, like for example, when we did this swap, I helped do the swap a few years ago. I didn't help actually perform the swap, but I came over afterwards and looked at it and tried to figure out why it wouldn't start. And so we swapped the alternator cover from the 86 engine onto this one without knowing that we needed to swap the flywheel also. So we're gonna, if we do, which is looking like we will, decide to go with this engine, I've got to pull the flywheel out of that engine and put it in this one. But we're gonna tear it down a little bit and look at it and see what we're dealing with anyway. Wire harness, like I said, I've got to completely rebuild the brakes, sprockets. Hopefully the rotors seem okay, so we're probably gonna just run those because they're very hard to get. It's gonna be cleaned up. Pretty much every maintenance item done, wiring, everything, brakes, lines, all that completely replaced. Yeah. As far as body work, whenever this is on down the road, because this is going to take months, and a lot of money to do. It's just, it's not worth probably what I'm going to put into it. It's not worth what I've already put into it. But to me, being my first ever bike, I have the opportunity to get it back and see if I can finally make something happen with it, is why it's worth it to me. Yeah, we're not in good shape with this either, but at least it's all here. These have been, the only one with original paint is this rear fairing here. Everything else has been repainted, sanded, whatever. But I do have the original coverings on the seats and the side panels. I'm gonna replace the mirrors and turn signals with aftermarket style, as well as the grips and levers. So, and I'm maybe try to get some original decals. If I can't find them, I'm gonna have some made, maybe just solid white. I don't know yet, but I'm gonna fix all these up as best as I can, cover in these holes, redo some of this bad body work that was done over the years. Probably going to go with a gloss black, make a new clear windscreen. Might have this stuff reupholstered, but I'm going to keep it red, the original color. We'll see. That's on down the road, but it's mostly all here. So, yeah, that's where we're at. And hopefully going to make some videos about it as we get through it, and hopefully slowly starts coming together. But like I said, it is going to take a really long time to get all this done. I had a plan made up of everything I knew that it was going to need and budgeted, and first day I got it home, I found a bunch of stuff that I needed to buy, so I'm already over my budget, and I haven't even bought anything that I originally planned for, so it's going to be a headache for sure. But wish me luck. Let's get this 1986 Ninja back on the road, cleaned up. Won't be a daily because I don't want to risk damaging things and having to do maintenance on stuff that is impossible to get. But I will have it eventually running and clean looking. And it should be very stressful. And for some reason I choose to do it. We'll see how it goes. Thanks, guys.